From all indications, there were multiple shooters who fired dozens of shots, perhaps more than 50. Remarkably, all of those bullets missed a baby who was sitting in the car that was targeted.
Investigators remained at the scene well after nightfall at this corner littered with shell casings, where somehow a baby in this bullet-riddled car emerged unscathed.
What's the purpose of shooting at a car when you know there's a child in the car? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it could be a lot of other people who's lost their life here today.
50 rounds fired. A white sedan turned into a sieve. A young mother, Gabryel Ayers, Gabby to her friends, was gone. Her boyfriend, wounded. But in the back, amidst the smoke, the blood, and the shattered glass, her 1-year-old daughter, holding a lollipop, crying physically untouched. How do you explain that? Luck? A miracle? Or something more calculated? That a child could be surrounded by that level of hate and walk away from it? The shell casings in the fabric of her seat prove how close it was. They're not just evidence. They're a ghost of the violence that passed right through her. Let's get one thing straight from the jump. This isn't a story about a random act of violence. This is a story about a receipt. A digital receipt for a life, cashed in on a Chicago street corner in broad daylight. The receipt was a location, dropped on social media. The price was a mother's life. And the change, left scattered in the aftermath, was a handful of shell casings found inside a baby's car seat. Before we piece together the how and the why, if you're new here, welcome to True Crime Unraveled. And to our family on YouTube and over on Facebook and TikTok at True Crime Unraveled TV, we see you. We read every single comment. We appreciate you more than you know. Keep them coming. Now, let's get into this. Gabby Ayers was 26, a hairstylist. That's not just a job title on the south side of Chicago. That's a dream in motion. You build a clientele, you build trust, you build a future one cut, one style at a time. By all accounts, Gabby was building. She was a devoted mom. Her world, according to those who loved her, was that little girl. She was trying to get her life on track, even training to be a letter carrier. This is the picture of someone striving, not just surviving. So what shifts the trajectory of a life like that from a salon chair to a crosshair? The answer, it seems, may have been typed out on a screen 2 months earlier. Online whispers, growing into roars in certain circles, suggest Gabby had made posts on Facebook. Posts that taunted, that dissed, that laughed about the death of someone else. In the ecosystem of street politics, that isn't just trash talk. It's a declaration. It's drawing a line in the sand and daring someone to cross it. It makes you a target. And according to those same unconfirmed but persistent reports, the thread eventually filtered down to her boyfriend, Devin Draper. The message was allegedly clear. Give her up, or it'll be you. Then, on February 4th, 2026, comes the fatal mistake. A post. A check-in. A location shared, perhaps inadvertently, perhaps under pressure. A pin dropped on a digital map at the worst possible time.
Oh, so they wanted the mama who was talking about their dead brother? Alright, y'all, so it's more to the story. It's an update on that Chicago woman, Gabryel, who lost her life after 4 men ran up and they shot the car over 50 times when her daughter was in the car with them. A lot of people was blaming her and blaming the boyfriend. Come to find out, the boyfriend had dropped this when they was driving. I mean, it had to be somebody that was either following them or just lurking on alert time. Cause I mean, they got to him pretty quick. He must have had to been over in somebody's neighborhood that they ain't supposed to been over. I just don't get, why would you taunt niggas when you know you got a baby in a car? Why would you drop your location and want a nigga to come hunt you on any playtime like that when you know you got a baby in the car? Now y'all, the target really was the mom. No disrespect. They said she wanted to be in that lifestyle. But not even just 90 days ago, she was just dissing the ops, dead people. My thing is, I don't know why women nowadays be feeling like they can insert themselves in this type of beef. Like, if you ain't doing the killing, and you at home being a mama, and you got family coming in and out your house, into your house, why are you trying to put yourself into these people shit? Then y'all always want to get a boyfriend who be like this, but then y'all want better, or have a kid and he end up dead or in jail. Now I be faking lying to y'all if I tell y'all I feel sad the same way like I did yesterday. I don't, once I found out this information. I just never respected people who like diss the dead. What do you get out of it? Sometimes you just gotta watch what you say. He was talking about how they dragged him out the car, blah, blah, blah. And look, the same way. She went out the same way, y'all. Not only that, you already got 2 flunky dummies crash outs then posted about it. They want the clout.
At 1:25 p.m., near 79th and May, in the shadow of St. Sabina Church, that digital coordinate met a very physical, very brutal reality. A red Alfa Romeo. 3 masked men with long guns. They didn't run up. They walked. This was methodical. They opened fire on the passenger side where Gabby sat. The surveillance video is chilling not for its gore, but for its cold efficiency. The popping of automatic fire, dozens upon dozens of rounds. The car, riddled, lurches forward and slams into a van. But it doesn't stop. The shooters, their initial barrage spent, retreat to their car. And then, as if to add a grotesque exclamation point, they fire again from the moving vehicle as they flee. The math is staggering. Over 50 shell casings recovered. Gabby, hit multiple times, was gone before she reached the hospital. Devin Draper was shot, but survived. And the baby was pulled from the wreckage, shell casings literally in the seat with her, crying unharmed. Let's sit with that for a second.
Look, he hit that. Oh, there's a baby in the car. They shot it up. Who's dead?
50 rounds. A focused attack. And not a single one strikes the child. Was she spared? Or was she simply invisible to the rage pointed at her mother? It's a question that splits right down the middle of this tragedy. Now, the police are on it. Area 2 detectives. There's video. There's a car description. There's a $10,000 reward from Cook County Crime Stoppers, matched by another $10,000 from Father Flegger and St. Sabina. The mayor, the senator, the community, they've all stood at that corner and pleaded for answers. The police have been clear. This was targeted. This was deliberate.
Chicago police joined the community in a show of solidarity on the very corner where a young woman was gunned down.
I just can relate to what this family is going through, and it's very painful, and it just reminds me of that we need to get these guns off the street.
Neighborhood resident Demetric Brown knows all too well the pain of losing a child to gun violence. She lost her adult daughter in 2021. The Southsiders among a coalition of concerned who attended an outdoor roll call by officers from CPD's 6th District following the slaying of Gabryel Ayers, the 26-year-old mother who was killed in a car while her 14-month-old daughter was in the back seat.
We stand together, we continue to partner with one another, that you guys are willing to come forward and help us, give us information.
Investigators say the attack happened Wednesday afternoon as Ayers and a man sat in a car near 79th and May. 3 men opened fire on their vehicle, causing them to crash into a van.
I talked to her mother, and I've also committed to paying for the services for her as well, and we will be starting to arrange those over the next day.
The 27-year-old man driving the vehicle Ayers was in was wounded but survived the attack, and incredibly, so did Ayers' child.
If he didn't show that he's still God by protecting that baby,
Amen.
Yes. I don't know what else he could show you.
During a prayer vigil attended by Chicago's mayor, other local elected officials, anti-violence advocates, and others, there were pleas for the killing to stop.
You're going to see our guys out here in these yellow or orange jackets constantly engaging the community, putting out fires everywhere.
The brazen daylight shooting in the city's Auburn Gresham neighborhood happened near St. Sabina Church. Today, the pastor, Father Michael Flegger, offered a $10,000 reward for information leading to an arrest.
Don't be silent. Don't sit back, because if you do, then you are a co-conspirator to everything that they do.
So far, no one is in custody and no arrests have been made. Chicago police have had very little to say about their ongoing investigation, except to say it is still under investigation. Back to you.
But here's where my own deduction comes in, looking at the facts we have. This has all the hallmarks of a message killing. The overkill, firing 50 rounds, coming back for more. That's not just about ending a life. It's about erasing a presence. It's about making a statement so loud that everyone in the neighborhood hears the echo. This is what happens. The involvement of the boyfriend, the alleged social media trail, it paints a picture of a situation that metastasized online and then exploded onto the street. It's the oldest story in the world, a feud filtered through the newest medium, with algorithms amplifying anger until it boils over into irreversible violence. Was the boyfriend coerced? Was he scared? The police aren't saying, and he's recovering from his wounds. But the pieces on the board suggest this was a trap that snapped shut, and Gabby was the intended catch all along. There has been so much noise online. Speculation, blame, armchair detective work. But the hard facts remain. A young woman is dead. A child is motherless. And 3 shooters are still out there. The Chicago PD has the footage. They have the ballistics. What they need is the human element. Someone to connect the online taunts to the offline actors. Someone to name the masks in that video. $20,000 is on the table for that name. For Gabby, who is building a life with her hands, one hairstyle at a time, it all ended because of words on a screen and men with guns on the street. Her story is a brutal reminder that in today's world, your digital footprint and your physical safety are inextricably linked. You can't separate them anymore. The baby survived. A miracle, they say. But what kind of world awaits that little girl? One where her mother's story is just another unresolved headline? Or one where the people responsible are finally held to account? That's where you come in. We've laid out the pieces as we know them. Now, what's your take? Look at the dynamics here. The social media post, the alleged pressure on the boyfriend, the sheer brutality of the hit. Does this feel like a personal vendetta that got out of hand, or something more coordinated? Sound off in the comments below. We read every single one. If this deep dive into a case that's still unfolding gripped you, do us a solid. Hit that like button. It helps more than you know in getting these stories to people who care. And to make sure you never miss an update on this case, or any of the others we're unraveling, subscribe to True Crime Unraveled on YouTube and follow us over on Facebook and TikTok at True Crime Unraveled TV. Hit that bell for notifications. Because the story doesn't end when the news cycle moves on. The search for answers continues. And we'll be here, following every lead. Until next time.
From all indications, there were multiple shooters who fired dozens of shots, perhaps more than 50. Remarkably, all of those bullets missed a baby who was sitting in the car that was targeted.
Investigators remained at the scene well after nightfall at this corner littered with shell casings, where somehow a baby in this bullet-riddled car emerged unscathed.
What's the purpose of shooting at a car when you know there's a child in the car? That doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it could be a lot of other people who's lost their life here today.
Kirk Bell is the godfather of 26-year-old Gabryel Ayers, who relatives identify as the woman who was shot and killed in her white Chevy sedan around 1:30 p.m. at 79th and May Street, her car then crashing into a van.
This here is unbelievable. This young lady was a beautiful young lady with a beautiful child, and life just cut short. For what?
Ayers' boyfriend in the car also shot multiple times, but her 13-month-old baby daughter, who was sitting in the back, escaped unhurt.
It's a miracle that baby was not shot. It's a miracle.
St. Sabina Church is around the block from where the gunfire erupted, and the church's food pantry is on that corner. People inside hiding in a back room, and after the gunfire, emerged to help the victims.
So they saw, the young man and the woman shot up in the car as they were trying to get the baby out. But they gave the baby immediately to the police, and the policewoman took it in her car and was holding it.
They need to clean this city up. They need to. This gangs and the shooting and the killing is just unbelievable.
Gabryel Ayers' mother tells me her daughter worked as a hairstylist and was training to be a letter carrier. Police have not offered a motive for the shooting.